Gotta get out of this really tight spot. Ugh. Can't even. It's super, super tight. It's crazy how let's go do parts. But hey, anyway, get more cars on the street. This works. But so been a while since I've done one of these type of videos. Actually, I'm heading to work. It is Saturday, and I'm still going into the office because they called for all hands that were possible to get in there to go help amidst this whole coronavirus thing. Not for anything crazy right now, but basically with the whole national emergency declaration yesterday, for those watching this, that was declared yesterday, for the purpose of getting access to funding and things like that. But he also, Trump also removed a lot of restrictions on what you can call a patient care area, so that basically you can deal with an influx of patients if you need to, without having to be bound by the restrictions of, since this particular, room didn't have its own curtain, it didn't have its own call bell button, therefore you can't take care of patients in here. Removing those restrictions, or some of those restrictions, I don't know all the details of them, but remove some of those restrictions so that you can, deal with an influx of patients. So we were asked to come in to go prepare our ready room. There's our ready room. So we have a ready room. I'm on a lot of the disaster preparedness committees already at the facility. I'm on Team Decon, our Code Orange training, which is like mass casualty incident. So I deal with the ready room a lot, and the ready room is a place where we have access to a bunch of stockpiled, ventilators, IV pumps, things like that. That if the need emerges, or if the need arises, that you need to break into the ready room supply for instance of mass casualty or influx of patients or things like that, that they're there and available, and trained on where they're at, how to go get them. Team Decon runs out of that room because that's where we have decontamination showers, and Team Decon is for let's say there's a hazmat type incident and you need to go get people suited up and protected, but they need to be able to decontaminate the patients as they come into the facility. So that's all run out of our ready room. Which is a pretty cool process, by the way. One day, maybe I'll get some permission, see if I can show you guys how it functions in there. But basically, long story short, they want to turn the ready room. They want to go through some of it. I couldn't quite figure out from the messaging if they're turning the ready room itself into an area ready to take patients, which is technically was designed to be able to be converted into that, but it's not that big. It's more for storage. But they were also talking about making a West Pavilion, and I don't know if they're going to set up an outside specialty care area, through tents and stuff. I'm not really sure, but they basically said, more hands make light work. Anybody who can come around 9 o'clock tomorrow and come assist at the ready room and getting things moved around and prepared for this. So I'm going in there to help out with this stuff. I find a lot of this stuff fascinating. I've always found disaster preparedness, fascinating. And the fact that we're, in a quote unquote, disaster scenario, though, with this whole thing being COVID, it's not as crazy as it could be. It could have been much worse. It could have been something that has a much higher mortality rate. So for what it is, we're lucky. I don't think our response has been appropriate. And now we're finally getting to the point where the responses are becoming more appropriate, which is good. But we were lucky it wasn't something way worse. But I will say, I've been watching all these YouTube videos of people doing the Costco runs and stockpiling and this and that. And a lot of that stuff is insane. It's crazy. I have not seen that around me. And if you guys don't know, I'm in Washington, D.C. My hospital is in downtown Washington, D.C. Or the heart of D.C., I should say. It's not really in downtown D.C., but it's in the heart of D.C. I live in D.C. proper. You would think out here it'd be a little bit crazy, but it's not that bad. I have not been to Costco in a few weeks, though. My wife went there actually for our last Costco trip, and she went there 2 weeks ago. So it was coronavirus stuff had already happened and was already going on, and it wasn't any crazier than normal. She said it was pretty much par for the course. Not sure if that's different now in our state of national emergency. I have no idea. I don't plan on going out there to find out because I don't want to, but looking at the streets and everything, looking at the things that I can see, the places that I've gone, it's nothing off the wall at this point, which is good. People seem to be being relatively calm. I have heard most of the stores and stuff are out of toilet paper and hand sanitizer, of course, but there's not mass hysteria. It doesn't seem, at least from what I can see. And granted, we only have 10 cases. And granted, we've doubled our cases in the last like week or so, from like 5 to, or I think it started at 4. You know, obviously it started at 1 and went up, but you know, it was holding steady at 4 and it went up to 10. I haven't looked at the numbers this morning though, so there's a very good possibility actually that the numbers are higher. I have no idea. I haven't looked, but it's nothing crazy on the news about it. But either way, letting you guys know what I'm doing out here in the midst of this whole coronavirus like outbreak. Going into work to see this. I'm going to see if I can get some footage in that ready room. Not really sure what I'll be able to get. It's not a patient care area, so I can probably get some footage in there without being like, without having too much problem, because there's not like patients that I'm worried about or anything. But still, you don't want to, you know, you can't be videotaping people without their consent, or recording people without their consent and things like that. So we'll see what we can do. I can just show you some of the shelves or whatever. We'll find out. No guarantees, but we'll see. Anyways, guys, I will see you soon. Walking by the entrance right now. There's our ready room.
Once those are in, this becomes square, to where this will then just fall into place.
So here it is, all put up, air conditioning and everything, doors. Check this out. It's not all set up yet, but this is what it's going to be. This is going to be the waiting area before they get to the ready room, where they're setting up some patient care areas in that other room back there that I was showing y'all. I'll show you over there. Right over in there. And then, yeah, so we'll see if, I don't know if they're going to set that up as a patient room yet. I think they're doing that tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll get good pictures of it, but we'll find out. We'll see what I can do. Well, it's pretty fancy in here, huh? Lights, air conditioning, ductwork. It's pretty cool. All right, let's get out of here. So that was fun. It was, as you can see from some of the pictures, I got some views inside the ready room, though that doesn't mean anything to you yet, because all we do is empty it out. I think they're doing the patient stuff tomorrow. They are turning that empty area in the back that had those pallets that I showed you afterwards was empty. They're turning that into 3 different patient care areas. I'm assuming for like a single patient in each of those 3 areas, not like massive patient care areas. But that tent that we set up, gotta get out of here. That tent that we set up was for the waiting room, essentially. So if we have an influx of patients, that's where they can go as an exterior waiting room. And it was called, it was the West Pavilion. And it turns out that it's called that because that's the manufacturer of the tent. It's West Pavilion or West Horizon or something like that. But I was right when I said earlier it was West something, and I didn't quite know what that meant. It's just it was the tent manufacturer's name. That's why they call it that. But emergency preparedness stuff, I actually get really excited by. I hope that we don't have to utilize these items that we're setting up for now, and the fact that we're actually preparing hopefully means that, you know, it's always one of those things, if you're prepared, you're never gonna have to use it. If you're not prepared, is when you're gonna have to use something. It's kind of the mantra of how that works. I don't know what is happening right now. We're literally in the middle of the parking lot, and the Metro Access van that's 2 cars up just stopped. I'm not sure. There it goes. It's about to start going around everybody to get out of here. I'm not sure what's happening. Oh, there's the vehicle in front of them that stopped. That's a little strange. I have no idea what's going on right now. Okay, we're moved again. Either way, so hopefully we don't have to utilize this stuff. But the concept of emergency preparedness just really always has intrigued me, always has fascinated me. I always like to be prepared for things like that. I guess it's kind of what I do, is I do emergency preparedness anyway. When I do stuff at my job with downtime preparedness for the electronic health record, or just in general being, you know, emergency responder and this and that, is kind of, you know, in our blood to like to prepare for things like this. But either way, I really enjoy it, and hopefully I can get some pictures of the patient care area when it's done. We'll see. They might be attached to the end of this video if I can get them. If not, I'll have to wait until another day. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll keep you updated throughout the with all the things that are happening here in DC as we go throughout the next week or month, or the next time frame, as everything starts to progress and we realize what we're really in for here. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.